On a crisp September night in 2017, beneath the blood-orange moon hanging over Ghost Town at Knott's Berry Farm, something Magic Land, deeply bittersweet unfolded, the opening night of Elvira Mistress of the Dark, the live stage show that would become her final farewell season at the park that had been her Halloween home for over a decade. The air crackled with anticipation, not just from the sea of fans packed into the wooden amphitheater, many dressed in homemade Elvira gowns, beehive wigs askew, clutching autographed books, like sacred texts, but from the very ghosts of the park itself, as if the spirits of every scare actor, skeleton, dancer, and midnight reveler knew this was more than just another show. It was a coronation, a celebration, and a goodbye, all wrapped in black satin and sequins. And then she appeared, not on a screen, not in a trailer, but live in the flesh. Cassandrapeterson, 66 years young, strutting onto the stage in a custom gown that shimmered like liquid night, beehive towering, lashes long enough to cast spells, martini glass in hand, smirking like she owned not just the stage, but time itself. The crowd erupted not just in cheers, but in tears, because this wasn't just Elvira returning, this was Elvira honoring them. The show itself was a greatest hits review of everything that made her iconic. Sultry musical numbers like Witchcraft and I Put a Spell on You, razor-sharp monologues, roasting bad horror remakes, they gave Dracula a backstory. Honey, his backstory was yes and. Playful audience roasts, where she flirted with nervous dads and teased teens in Elvira cosplay, and even a tender, unexpected moment, where she paused, looked out at the sea of faces, and whispered, "You kept me alive all these years," and not just with dry ice. The production was pure knots, magic fog swirling around her stilettos, skeleton backup dancers leaping through strobe-lit choreography, vintage horror clips projected on ghostly scrims, but the real power was in the intimacy. No edits, no filters. Just Cassandra, raw, radiant, and radiating gratitude, turning every punchline into a love letter, and every wink into a wink back at the fans who'd grown up with her, brought their kids to see her, and now stood shoulder to shoulder with strangers who felt like family. Rumors had swirled for months that this would be her last season to much travel, too many years on the road, a desire to spend more time with her partner. But she never confirmed it outright. Until that night, during the final bow, as the applause refused to fade, she lingered center stage, hand over her heart, eyes glistening under the ghostly lights. "They said I'd never last," she purred into the mic, voice thick with emotion. "But you made me eternal." And in that moment, it was clear, this wasn't an ending. It was an ascension. Because Elvira had never been just a character. She was a covenanta, promised to every misfit, monster kid, and midnight dreamer that you could be weird, wild, and unapologetically yourself, and still be loved. As the final notes of the organ faded and the fog swallowed the stage one last time, fans didn't just leave with photos or merch. They left with a piece of history and the quiet understanding that while the live shows might be over, the legend would never die. For on that September night in 2017, Elvira didn't say goodbye. She simply whispered, "Boils and ghouls, I'll always be haunting you." And with a final cackle echoing into the California night, the Mistress of the Dark took her final bow not as a performer, but as a queen returning to her throne. In all our hearts,